In October of 2015, there was news of an E. coli outbreak from a wildly popular company, Chipotle. The media immediately took the news and ran with it, and that led to a terrible sales for Chipotle, store closings, and a decline in stock. Neither Chipotle's marketing nor their advertising team took the responsibility for this. So who did? Chipotle's PR team. Chipotle's PR team worked to uphold the company's image and released any media statements or responses in order to bring the company back into a positive light. Hi, my name is Kiran OW, and this year I'm studying public relations. I plan on majoring in communications and having a minor in business. At the beginning of the year, we were told to choose a quote that would represent our ISM journey. I chose, "I cannot believe that the purpose of life is to be happy. I think the purpose of life is to be useful, to be responsible, to be compassionate. It is above all to matter, to count, to stand for something, to have made some difference that you lived at all." I took ISM to invest in myself and my future. ISM is an outlet for me to be useful, for me to be responsible, and to make a difference in my life. Why did I choose public relations? Well, originally my intention was to study criminal law, and then very quickly I realized I wasn't very interested in it. So one day while I was researching careers on a website, I saw a post with general information about public relations, and I clicked on it. And I read through it, and I read through more articles, only to find myself in Coach Goff's room the next morning asking for a topic change. With PR comes the responsibility of crisis management. PR has a lot of different branches, but regardless, crisis management is not different across the board. For example, in a school board, their priority is to have trust and transparency between the student and the family. In a hospital, there has to be trust between a hospital and patient. However, in an agency, they approach their crisis a bit differently because they can get away with stretching the truth a little bit, but having a strategically worded statement. Regardless of the branch, there is a general agreed upon crisis management process, which includes assessment, planning, execution, and cleanup. Assessment is just going over the crisis and assuming the positions. This part should be fairly quick, as it should have been planned on before. The same with the planning step. The foundation should have been complete. When you have a client, the first thing you want to do is be sure that you're ready for any crisis. Execution. The execution is when you execute all of the things that go into the media or that go into the public that the company wants. Then your cleanup. You go through analysis and see, okay, what worked this time and what didn't, and what could we do to improve maybe a faster response time to avoid any lag. I also learned that PR is much more than just crisis management. It's media relations, community relations, upholding corporate social responsibility, and pitching press releases. And overall, just trying to shape and maintain the image of the brand organization. Branching off PR, there are healthcares, nonprofits, school ISDs, and agencies. My goal this year was to become well acquainted with these different branches through informational interviews. Through these interviews, I found similarities and differences. Some major similarities I found was that all of them were responsible for managing internal and external communications. They were also responsible for staying current with events and technology, and for campaigns and events. Some major differences were in pacing. For example, in a school ISD or a hospital, they're not able to execute whatever their plan is as quickly as an agency because of trust reasons. Also, a difference is in the relationship with reporters. For example, in a school ISD, the reporters go to a school ISD rather than an agency, you go to a reporter. The relationship with a client. In a corporate setting, there's one client and one focus. Therefore, it's really very easy and very common for the PR team and the client to have a very strong relationship. In a agency, one PR specialist may have 5+ clients, therefore the relationship won't be as in-depth. Every professional that I interviewed with would agree that PR is a very volatile field. As technology changes, so does the field. Therefore, online press releases must be caught up with current events and trends. So, to be effective through online communications, specialists must be aware of the audience, establish SEO, which is search engine optimization, and make sure their message is relevant, clear, and brief. Search engine optimization. A woman that I interviewed, Katie Long, she worked for an agency that really worked with search engine optimization and worked to get their company out there. Search engine optimization is basically just how to get your results or your client's message on the first page of a Google result. So whenever we Google something, we don't really look past the first page. So how is a PR specialist going to get their client's message or their client's product out there on the first page? And this is really important in a fast-paced world because people don't really browse around the internet. They don't have the time for that. So everyone is continuing to implement this in their companies. Through this class, I have set a goal for my college. I will be partaking in writing classes and the newspaper so I can improve my writing skills because it's such a big part of the PR world. I will also be going through internships, whether that be in-house internships, agencies, or corporate internships, so I can be exposed to different works. These will be great resume builders as people in the PR world expect you to have experience as an entry level right out of college. My mentor is Linda Gelser. She is the Director of Public Relations at Carter Blood Care. She is the only one who looked at my weekly blogs and my website and asked, "Why are you majoring in business?" And that really got me thinking because I didn't know why I was majoring in business. So her advice about communications and what direction I should be taking in my future really did help me ultimately lead to this huge change in my life. I learned something from every visit. She's going through APR accreditation, which is a master level PR course. So everything that she learned, she kind of brings back and shows me like, okay, this is something that you would want to note down, especially just to know. And the passion and excitement I have derives from her. For my original work, I wanted to incorporate the most important element of PR, which is writing. I wanted to make something that was buildable for my final product so that I could have this down and then make something bigger. And I wanted to have knowledge about the specifics because communications is a very broad field. Therefore, all the specifics are necessary to know, like how to personal brand or PR and the law. And creating this website, I realized it's not that easy. My website is called the PR Hub, and it has current events, subject matter that is found on the APR accreditation exam, and topics that I went over in informational interviews. And I realized how hard it was because I was a high school student. I hadn't gone through any communications classes, therefore I was unaware of the specifics of anything. So I had to research. I went through online textbooks, online databases. I even called some of my old informational interview professionals that I had interviewed and asked them specific questions. Like, for example, I had to call this woman from SPM Communications, Jessica Flores, because she was part of an agency and my mentor was part of a nonprofit. Therefore, some of the questions that I had about corporate social responsibility, Linda couldn't really answer. So I had to go through a countless amount of sites because I had to make sure that the information that I was putting out was accurate. My goal with this website was not only to help myself, but to also help people around me, for example, prospective students in APR exam. I have learned a lot more from this website than I thought. I gave heed to topics I had not thought of before. For example, that PR had to do with legality issues with copyright. Now that I'm thinking about it and now that I've researched it, it seems obvious, but before I had not thought about that. Mrs. Gelser has taught me so much. She has been a huge source of information for me. She answered all of my questions with enthusiasm, and she helped me a lot with the topics that I would put on my website. And she gave me career and life advice. ISM has proven to be very invaluable to me. It's an outlet to my future, and it's had a direct influence on my future. This class has made me take initiative and be introspective about what I want, and I found what I'm passionate about. I've become aware of my strengths and weaknesses, and I'm getting to establish myself before college even begins. For example, Ms. Gelzer in my last mentor visit told me that she had a friend that was looking for an intern this summer. Therefore, I would already be starting my career without even getting into college. I'm excited to take full advantage of the work this year and the work that I've done on my original work. My plan for my final product right now is to work to promote and to spark interest for the blood donation drive that we're having in March. I'm not really sure of the specific date, but I would have to go through an extensive client plan, and I would have to do press releases and find a way to educate people and not market the donation, but educate people on what the donation is and why it's important. Thank you.